or leave pad. Otherwise, there are two basic inbuilt text editors. One is Vim, other one is Nano. For the time being, we will stick to Nano because Vim is a very difficult text editor to manage, and usually people don't opt for inline text editors. So it's not that much of a great thing, but yeah, it is great. So I'll just stick to Nano. So what we do is, suppose we want to type something into this hello world program, write in Nano space hello world. You see, this is an empty text document. This is completely empty. So what I do here is I'll write a simple text like hello world. We do a control O, it's asking for a file name. We're going to keep the same file name, so we'll just press enter. And to exit out of it, you can see here is an exit option. So a simple control X and we're out. I can clear my screen. So see, we have the same hello world program. Now we want to read this file, like we want to type out the contents. For that we have a lot of commands, but the most useful and utilitarian one is cat, C-A-T, cat hello world. You see, we have this, we have our text back. So these are the basic, making file operations. Right now you guys might be thinking, "Hey, this is very boring" and stuff like that. But trust me, at a later stage of pen testing or CTF, so whatever you guys do, this is the crucial heart of the subject. So bear with us for some time. Now I'll just drop in a little hint. What if you forget? What does let's say cat command do? It happens with us all the time. I have been working with Linux for almost a year now, and I still forget commands and flags and stuff like that. So there is this thing called man, which stands for manual, and then you go for typing the command name. What it basically does is it's give you a user manual and a brief introduction of a command, what the command does, what is the syntax. As you can see, this is the syntax. It gives you a short description and even a list of the extra flags or the extra features which can be included with this command. So it's brilliant. And if I want to escape this prompt, go back to my original one, I'll just press the letter Q, and here we are. So before continuing on with this, I'll just have a look if somebody is waiting in the lobby. Okay, there is one person. I'll admit him. Great.
Why don't we choose Tarmac?
Yeah?
Why don't we choose Tarmac?
Termux is for mobile applications. Actually, Termux is for mobile applications.
Dejit, you are muted.
So what is that, bro?
Oh, sorry. It's completely my fault. So the guy who asked about Termux. So see, Termux is basically for mobile phones. It's basically it gives you the CLI base to interact with it. What actually happens is the Android kernel itself is based on Linux. If you can, I'll show you a screenshot. Likewise, if I do a neo fetch command here, it gives me the version, what kind of system I'm using. Basically a very good looking graphical ASCII art. I'll be muting some people. Actually, wait a minute.
Dejit, you are also muted. Unmute yourself.
Oh, extremely sorry again, guys. I don't know why I keep doing that. So what I like to say is, see, even the Android kernel is based upon Linux. The Android kernel is based on is a Linux derivative. That's why it gives you the CLI base. Like what the other apps do is they give you a graphical base, and but basically all that working and stuff that's happening on Linux only. So I'll show you the very interesting use of termworks. So getting back to the things at hand, we till now let's have a short recapitulation. We had the ls command, we had the cd command, we had the mkdir command, we had the touch command, we had the nano command, we had the command, we have the mv command, we have the pwd command. Any questions still here? Any questions? Anybody? Just shoot it at us.
That's
Sir,
command, sir.
just
Explain again.
so that nano command which you use, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can I ask, sir?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sir, my question was like just you just went off. It was like that nano command. After using it, we have to put two like control plus O and like another. You said something.
Okay.
Nano command, sir.
I got your question. You see,
Thank you,
if
sir.
you forget what, okay, if you see you're forgetting what to put and what are the commands, down here it is listed what you want to do. Suppose if you want to write out to this file, you do this symbol stands for this upper arrow, the power symbol stands for control, and beside it is the symbol which is associated with a particular function. So if I want to write out something, I have to press this control plus capital O, or sorry, control plus O to write this message to this file. So I'll give you a very brilliant example. Suppose what I'm doing
Yes,
is,
sir. Understood.
okay. No, I'll just elaborate on this one for the better understanding. I had previously had this hello world written. So I'll also write hello there. A simple message. Now what I do is I don't go for the control O. Control O writes it out to the file. I just do control X. You see, I'm getting a prompt. Do you want to save the modified buffer? What does this mean? That the memory has been changed, right? The program has been changed. So do I want to save the changes? Like when we exit Notepad without saving the changes, or Word, for example, we get this prompt, right? Do you want to save the changes before exiting? This is very similar to that. And if I do a control Y, it's similar to the control O and it exits. And now if I catch this hello world, you see I got this extra line back here. So that's how simple it is. And if you ever forget anything, trust me, to this day, we forget stuff. We just look it up using man or a Google search. Or there are many other ways as well, using the help command and stuff, but we'll get to that. So we did cat, we did move. Now we'll be coming to copy pasting. I know it's extremely simple. Okay, do we have a question?
Yes, can you please explain again the touch command?
Touch command.
Yes.
In Windows, I'll just give an analogy with Windows for the better understanding. In Windows, what do we have is, we have a new file command, right? Hello, Naveen, or whoever asked that question. We have this
Yes.
new file command. It asks us for what kind of file do we want. Do we want a new image? Do we want a new PNG image or stuff like that? Because in Windows there is this concept of extensions. What the touch command does is it allocates a block in the memory for a file without specifying its extensions, because at the end of the day it's all zeros and ones. So we don't need an extension, it just creates a file by the given name. Okay, so getting back, I'll be going for the
Hello.
stuff. Yeah, sure.
Do we use echo as well as nano, or we only use nano?
Yeah, what's your command? What's your question, sir?
Do we use echo also at point, or it's only nano always for editing the file?
Okay. Do you watch a video or do you download a video? Like, both are different things, right?
Yeah,
Both
that's
are
what.
different things. Echo and nano are the same thing. Echo basically does is, suppose I'm going to echo hello world. It just echoes it. It just prints it on the screen. It doesn't store it anywhere. But nano stores it in the file. So when you're watching a video, you just watch it, you forget it, there's no trace in memory. That's echo. It just gives you output to the screen. But nano is a text editor. It writes to a file.
Okay.
DMK, we can also, using echo, we can also input text into a text file, right? Like using.
I'll come to that. We can also use echo to write to a text file, but that's not actually a property of echo. We have to use another Linux command like arrows, not exactly commands, but rather like to call it shortcuts. We have to use shortcuts to write to it. I'll come to it at a later point. Right now, let's just go to the basics. So I'll change directory to my home directory. So there's a very cool trick for it. You see the symbol, which is in mathematics we use for similarity. We just do this and it takes us to our home folder. You see, we are inside our home folder. Hello? Yeah, you have a questions?
Please, no, sir, I not have pretty questions, but his class is recorded.
I didn't get you actually.
A question.
But class has been recorded, sir, but I missed it somewhere, so I can go to again the
It's
video.
not an issue. It's not going to be an issue. We are just touching upon the basics. Stay with us, and otherwise you can also refer to our videos which are available online. And if you have any doubts, feel free to ask in the group or
You can also to our YouTube channel. We have basic videos on Linux.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Sir, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
So, what is the difference between mkdir command or touch command?
mkdir makes directories. Touch command makes files. Got it?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
One is a new equivalent to a new folder, another is equivalent to a new file.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I love questions, guys. Don't hesitate. Okay, we have another one, I guess.
Explain about that PW command.
PWD, right? I'll be back with you. Wait. Suppose I'll do a quick one. Hello. Let me demonstrate this PWD question once. What I'll do is I'll just do a very random thing. Okay. So right now I might even get confused at some point of the time in the terminal key. Where am I actually? Like you maybe have changed directory so many times that you have lost count or track where you are. It happens all the time because there are many multi-system directories, right? If you see the root directory, you see there are so many directories inside these. There are many more. So we might forget where actually we are in the file system. For that, it's PW. It tells us where the control is at present. Right now, any folder we make, any drive we make, it will be stored here, because we are inside this directory. So that's the basic idea of PWD command. It usually.
I have one question.
Yeah.
So you told us about the touch that it makes files, right? So there is no concept of that .png or anything in Linux. They don't make such files with the extensions.
Actually, the exact verbatim will be the extensions are not given much priority because you know what differentiates a PNG file and a JPEG file.
Sorry.
What differentiates a PNG file, a JPEG file, or a text file? It's the hex values.
It's like image files only, right?
Yeah, and the differentiation lies in the hex values. So that's how it happens. It identifies the hex values. A very common thing which happens in CTFs is technography. They give you a text editor. They give you a file which might be looking like a picture to try to open some image, you try to open it through some image viewer or stuff like that, you will get an error, because what the image viewer is programmed to read only in the files which hexes match with PNG formats, JPEG formats, and not a text format. But if you nano it or if you do to see cat it, you will get the text output. I'll show you an example. Wait, I'll show you a better example. For the time being, let's go to a directory. Let's go to. I'll open up an image. Oh, sorry, my bad. I opened up the web browser. Okay, this is an image, everyone. For those of you who know what this is, it's an image of a very famous character. We cannot, read this image in the sense the text and the image or stuff like that. Like we can read a text file. In that particular context, we can't read quote unquote read this image, right? I like a confirmation on that, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I
What
have
can
a
be done
question.
is, wait, I'll just complete this one and come back to you. But if we cat this, you see we get all this data. This is all the bits and elf data which is there in the image. Basically, this is the image. If I store it, let's show you guys something. Touch wall. You see we have a file called wall. If you don't understand this particular command, what I'm doing right now, just don't worry, okay? So basically what I did was, let's go back to it. You see we have this same exact image. Again, we did not use any copy paste commands or stuff like that. I'll break it down for you. First I created a wall, right? I created this particular file wall. Any questions still here? I touched wall.
No, sir.
Okay. What I did
Sir,
was,
I have a question.
I'll get back to you. Let me complete this particular segment. What I did was, I quote unquote read this file. Whatever data was there, like in whatever format, hex data, it may be ELF data, it may be binary data. I just stored the output of this crazy output which you see on the top of the screen, which doesn't make any sense. I stored all of that bit by bit, binary by binary, into this particular file wall using this command. It's pretty self-explanatory. So that's like copying a file. So that's how we got the same exact replica of the image. You guys get it? How things work? I know it's not easy for a beginner. Sleep over it, give it some thought, and you will understand it. Okay, somebody had a question for a very long time. Okay, somebody had a question. Hello.
Hello?
So by this we can copy any image or any text. Like doesn't matter if the content is a text or a like image.
It doesn't matter if the text is a content, image, an executable file, a video, anything, because at the end of the day it's just binaries, hexes, ELF data and stuff like that, right? You can copy anything, any image, any command, any executable, any games, any movie, any web series, anything. Here once what I did was, I had the entire Game of Thrones series inside an image. That image was around, let's say, I don't exactly remember, 32 GB, one single image. It had the entire data, entire Game of Thrones series. So that's what you can do with stuff. I'll keep diverting from the main question. So any questions, guys? Any questions?
Sir, can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah, sure. Just shoot them.
So, can you explain the permissions concept in CS mode, like user, owner,
we'll get back to that. Does anybody has a question still now? Like whatever has been taught or done till now. We'll get to permissions.
So it's a question from like my is like does it like that ki, like touch file like touch command only has the like ability to make text files or it can make image file or anything? Is it that it will just make a text file?
Okay. The verbatim of this question is very wrong. The question should, what kind of file does a text in touch make, right? Touch doesn't make a text file. It just takes a chunk of memory and gives it a name. Okay, you can put whatever you want in that memory. Right now you saw I used touch command to create a file in which I stored an images data. You can store a videos data in there as well. So that's how the touch command works. It doesn't make, just makes the file. It takes memory and it makes the file. It doesn't put any extensions to it. You can make it whatever you want.
So content doesn't matter, it just makes a file.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I'll get back to my folder where it was there. Do you see any, I made this image right now.
Yes, sir.
True? From this image?
Yeah.
See, this image has the extension .jpg. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's an extension .jpg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Does this Does this have any extension?
No, sir.
It's just wall.
Not at all.
Just the name.
What happens is this extension, but how does this how does the system know that okay, I have to call an image viewer to open this file and not a text editor? What usually happens, I'll show you another example. Let's see. Okay, there's this command binwalk, or rather I'll go for another more extensive one. You will come to know these commands. You see, I did not specify any extension at any point of time. Still the file type is given as JPEG and JPG because it's the hex that is being read to find out the file type. It is very common if you go for image steganography based CTS. This type of things are very common. You will find an image but you cannot open it because the first 6, it is a PNG image and the first 6 bits are set for JPG or zip or something like that. It's very common. So you guys will get the hang of it. As I said, it's not a one-day task. It takes a lot of time. So right now, don't be bothered with the technicalities as of the time. Try to understand the concept. Okay. So
Hello?
yeah, more questions. More questions.
Yeah, I have
Give
a
us
question.
questions.
In the Windows, we use it to have disk utilization, right? How we can find it in Linux?
Utilization, right? Can you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
a little bar at the top of my screen?
Yeah, yes.
This one represents this is my system monitor. Let me bring it down. The first one is my processor, how much processor. This is my system monitor, this is my memory stats, this is my network stats. If you want more details, like if you're asking for, let's say something like this is system manager, which we used to call it Control Alt Delete. There's a command called top. This gives me the system usage. In Windows, in Linux, you get everything. I don't know if I have a particular command installed. No, I don't have a very particular command installed because I recently changed my OS. But let me see if I can get this particular file for now. In Linux, you can get everything. In fact, funny thing, I can run Windows programs on Linux as well, like .exe and .msi stuff on Linux as well, which I actually do from time to time. As it happens to be, we need a software at college known as LT Spice. Those who are into engineering will know that. LT Spice is not available for Linux. So that's why I have to emulate it. Right? Everybody knows what an emulator is. Correct?
Yes, yes.
So I have to emulate that thing to get stuff working, and it is very common. So the person who
Yeah,
asked the
can
question,
yeah, actually,
Can we emulate
my main
Microsoft
question is
Office also
that
in Linux?
usually in Windows we used to have disk utilization like 99%, 100%, right? Then we used to do something like stopping some of the process or cleaning our bin, or we used to do the
okay,
stuff.
okay,
In Windows, how can
okay,
we
got it,
decrease the usage of
got
the disk?
it, got it. That's the top command. You see in the top command we have how much percent used by a particular file. As you can see right now, this Teams, like Microsoft Teams is using 76 to 95% of my CPU time, right? Is this what you're asking? And if you want to like kill the process like we used to do with Task Manager, unfortunately I cannot show that to you right now because if I do so, I'll get disconnected. But what happens is there's a command called kill command. Right here, do you see something known as the PID? This PID is what we call a process ID. It's like an identity card for the process. So there's a command called kill, after which we give the PID. And if we hit enter right now, this will kill this particular process. Basically, it's the Linux equivalent of Control Alt Delete.
Hello?
These are a bit advanced commands and system commands. We will try to cover them.
Hello?
Okay, and yeah,
Hello? Sir, can I ask now?
yeah, sure.
Sir, have you explained about these commands called add user, user delete and su?
We will come to these. These are a bit advanced commands like making and deleting users, permissions and stuff. We will all come to it gradually. First,
So I have, so
yeah, go ahead.
I have a problem that I have seen in Ubuntu, these commands are not working in that.
What? I didn't get it.
So I have checked in my Ubuntu, these add user and user delete are not working now, they are asking some permissions.
Okay, so what I'll suggest is we discuss this offline sometime. Or otherwise, you can. There are a lot of fixes like which user del. You see, this gives me the path where the binary is located. You diagonalize to the binary, see if you have them. If they're in your environmental variable, like you see, this is my entire environmental variable. These are a bit difficult questions, which I don't think if we tackle right now, people will be at loss. What is happening? We'll come to this. You can go to Stack Exchange and stuff like that at the later stage. Guys, this is something I would like to mention right here and now. We definitely appreciate questions, but what we appreciate more is self-learning, because if you want to be a hacker, a pen tester, trust me, these online classes are just push a head start, but you have to do the 99.99% of the research yourself. It's the hello.
Hello?
Go. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I'm having a doubt. Can you once again show me the example how we can use the cat command and store the image?
What? I didn't get the second half.
No, I wanted to know
The
by
cat
using
command?
the cat command. Yeah. We have saved the image, right? I wanted to know that thing.
We'll come to it. We'll come to it. That was just a bit advanced application of commands. We'll come to it. But okay, guys, we deviated a lot.
Hello. Sir?
Keep your questions. We'll come to it. Okay, these are a bit advanced. Yeah.
Sir, apart from files and directories, what else can you just open from basically terminal? Which
You can do everything from the terminal. Trust me, you can do everything from the terminal. Hello.
if I want to give an image?
Don't you think that changing the X file to image or something will take time as we predefine what extension we are working on?
I didn't get your question.
I mean कि हमने पहले से एक्सटेंशन डिफाइन कर दिया है तो कंप्यूटर जल्दी समझ पाएगा कि इमेज है कि कौन सी फाइल्स कैटेगरी.
No. A computer always looks for the hexes or the binaries. Extensions का उतना use नहीं होता क्योंकि anybody can change it. right? I can just take a PNG file and name it a JPEG file. इसका मतलब क्या नहीं खुलेगा? खुलेगा, but कैसे खुलेगा? It will look for the hexes. Try it once. Try it once on your system. नहीं खुलेगा. Like खुलेगा, sorry. It's my bad. Because it always looks for hexes and time नहीं लगता. भाई 6 hex को देखने में कितना time लगता है CPU को? वो if you convert the extension into hexes and binaries, वो भी उतना ही space लेगा शायद या ज़्यादा. Considering it is a string, and it's just a few hexes. Any more questions, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir, what if when you were using nano?
Hello. I didn't get it.
Hello.
What's the question with nano?
So when you were using nano and you were editing that file, so at the last it said change in the buffer. So what does it mean by change in buffer?
See, I added an extra line to it which I did not save, right?
Yes, yes.
Right? Okay, I'll give you an analogy with Windows. Has it ever happened that you are writing the text file, say docs, notepad, and you try to exit it and it shows that it is changes? Have you noticed that? It's a similar part of it.
Yes, sir.
What buffer basically means that this statement means that there has been a change in memory. Previously there was an unallocated space and now there's something in there. So you want to store that something or do you want to get rid of it? If I typed in yes, which means I want. Yeah.
So what I want to know is that does buffer means change in memory on the RAM or on the hard disk?
Buffer is memory itself. And if you're talking about RAM memory doesn't happen that way. Whenever we are writing files, we are writing it on the hard disk. Right? And if you're talking about RAM quote unquote memory, it usually takes place in the form of registers, right? EAX, EBX, ECX, EDX registers. So we don't write onto registers. We write onto memory, and these are registers which carry the information, which is basically somewhat correlated to cache information, cache memory, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
We had another question. We had another question. Go ahead.
So what if we add some code to the PNG file by using that cat command, and if someone open that PNG file, will that code work or not?
Depends. It completely depends on how the program opens the code. Trust me, this whatever you said is a viable option, at the same time not a viable option. It depends on how do I put it? How the program reads the file. Got it?
Okay. So just like Windows, in Windows we just double tap, we add image over a code. So we made a image and code itself, and if someone double tap on it, it will open the program itself and the image itself. So I am asking just like that, if you by cat command you can use that or not.
I didn't get what you were saying. See, I'll give you a very clever example. Do you guys know steganography?
Not very much, but
Okay. Okay, so just try to follow along. Every image, I'll say one statement at a time, and you guys just correlate with a yes or no. Can I say that every image is basically a set of ones and zeros in the memory?
Yes, sir.
True?
Yes.
Yep.
A text file is also ones and zeros in the memory.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So suppose there's an image which is made up of 100 ones and zeros. Okay, let me complete the statement and listen very carefully. Suppose I have, wait, I'll just mute everybody. Okay, so we have this image file which consists of 100 ones and zeros, and every one and zero corresponds to a particular pixel. Okay, and there's a text file which consists of 5 ones and zeros. So what if I change the last five bits of that image into my text file bits. So in an entire image of, let's say, 100 pixels, only 5 pixels are changed. Is there going to be any noticeable difference? Is there going to be any noticeable difference? I have a 100
No,
pixel image, 5 pixels.
No.
But right
No.
there I have my text secret message, right? This is basically the entire idea of steganography. Another question which you ask is if we can write on a piece of we can write a piece of code into an image and it will get executed. Something very similar happens in case of email malwares, especially templated emails, because these templates are written with something known as VBA. Those of you who are into retro gaming will be knowing about this. Especially Microsoft Outlook and or many other places, they employ VBA to make templates. A very clever use of VBA is that VBA can also be programmed in such a way that it becomes a malware. So that when you use this template or send an email, it basically sends the malware itself without any noticeable change, and the malware clones itself. The cycle continues. It again mails itself to somebody else. Maybe you're getting a document file or a templated folder, stuff like that. But what you do not know is that behind it is a malware. So it all depends upon how the code is executed, how it is read. It also depends upon what is compiling it. How, is the compiler clean or dirty? These are bit technical terms, and things get a bit complicated in this matters. But yeah, that's a general idea of it. Any questions? See guys, what we had initially planned that we'll just go for doubt clearing sessions for like say 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes and stuff like that, and we'll cover a specific set of questions. But I don't care if we cover 5 questions instead of 15 questions or 15 commands as such. If you guys have those 5 questions, 5 commands at the tip of your fingers with very crystal clear concepts. So don't hesitate to ask these questions. Any questions? Any questions?
Sir, is this session recordable?
See, what actually happened is we try to record our sessions because we understand people are not always available. But there are certain audio, there are issues, right? Sometimes the recorders don't work, sometimes the audio system, like the input is there, the output isn't, and stuff like that. So usually we try to do it. I hope even this is being recorded. If audio and video is just fine, we'll provide you with the recording as well. Don't worry. Okay.
So,
I was expecting. Okay, go ahead.
so like Windows, we open image or any video file. So can we open same in the Linux also? Or if yes, then how?
I didn't get your question. I just opened images, right? What did you mean by
Yeah,
that?
we can open image file or video file in Linux also. If yes, then from which command?
Hmm, it depends. If I want to use VLC, I'll use VLC. If I want to use any other thing, I'll use something else. Um, I just suppose I'll go to my videos folder. Okay guys, I'll just stop sharing my screen for 2 minutes because of certain reasons, but I'll get back to you. Okay guys, wait, I'll be sharing my screen again. Okay, is my screen back on?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hello? So see, here I have a couple of video files. Okay, I want to open any one of them. I'll just go for VLC. Let's say I'll go for the first one, or rather any one of these. I'll just type in the very big name this thing has. I just hit it and I have VLC. So that's how easy it is. I hope is this what you were asking?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So VLC is the command, or is it because of the
VLC
video
is,
file you use?
it was a video file, that's why I used VLC. If it was any other, if I wanted to view an image, I'll use an image view or stuff like that. So it just depends. Like it's the software which you want to view it with, and the software which you want and the thing you want to watch. Another very fun command. Suppose I'll say Firefox google.com. Now this is a very controversial command because some recent Firefox versions are not running this. Let's hope it works. Oh, it works. I hit Firefox Google, it opens up, right?
Oh, okay, okay, sir, I got it. And one more question, sir. You told us that if we can't remember all the commands, right? So what was that command which you told us from which we get all the information about the commands?
That's man. Suppose I forget what ls does.
Okay.
It's man ls. I have my information. And you can see now that if I don't know how do I put out of this page, they even have this little problem. Okay, so I was expecting a question which I had during my initial days. These commands are written in some sort of language, like when I'm typing ls, what is ls? Is it a binary? Is it a file? Is it a command? What exactly it is, right? No, I was expecting this question. Anybody has this thought? What basically is ls?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, now.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so
Yes, sir.
okay. So what we'll do is first I'll again have to mute everybody. Sorry guys. Okay. So first there's a command called which. Which command. I don't know what does which do, so I'll just do mat which. Locate a command. So basically this command locates a command. Very simple. So I want to find out where is ls. So see, this is the path where ls is located, right? Suppose my next question, okay, so what kind of command is ls actually? So there is a command called file command. Again, I don't know what does file do. So just do man file. It determines the file type. So as simple as that. Now all I do is I take in this command, I fill it with this external path, and see it's an L64 binary executable. That's basically a compiled, you can call it an executable file which is equivalent to a windows.exe. So this is how you can get even the extremist information about this. And if you want to go for further analysis, what is there? What exactly happens when we type in ls? You can go for options like GDB and stuff like that. GDB stands for GNU Debugger Project. It's very advanced and is mainly used for reverse engineering, but yeah, you can do that well. You can even program it in such a way you can make your own commands. You can make, if you are good at that, you can make a command so that if you type your name, it shows the system information or something funny. Whatever it may be. There's one, we had already had a very extensive session, but I love this session because usually what happens is you initially go for a very brute force approach. We go for target that will complete this certain number of commands, but we did very few today. Like I hardly say we did 7 or 8 commands, but the discussion was pretty extensive. We got to the root of the problems. Does everybody agree with that, or do they any of you have something which you like it needs to be said or laid out? Just feel free to do so.
So I wanted to ask
Anybody?
one more question.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate.
So about I'm going by it is preferable for Windows or Mac also will do.
If you ask me, I'll say Linux. Ritik sir here will confirm that in the last few days I changed my Linux distribution around 7 to 8 times because I just couldn't find my perfect match. I'm a Linux geek. I love Linux because trust me, you can do everything here.
Yeah,
Uh,
sir.
you can
Linux,
even watch. Okay, a funny thought. You can even watch Netflix from the Linux terminal.
Okay.
You can chat on WhatsApp from the Linux terminal. You can do everything from here if you're just it takes is that knowledge of coding. You can do everything from the terminal. Trust me, everything.
okay, sir, but I should go for Dell or for MacBook.
See, it completely depends. Laptop and be a great hacker with it, and you can have a MacBook laptop and be the popular kid in school. That it's completely relative. I personally use a i3 version of Dell 5th generation versions, and it works just as fine for me.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
I know such some
Hello.
people who bought a MacBook and booted Kali Linux into it. So it's
Hello.
completely relative. Okay, more questions, more questions. And preferably related to what we taught.
So, but on i3 you won't be able to use many VMs.
Um, is that the case? Because to be honest, right before I booted, I had around 12 virtual machines running on my virtual box. Some Windows, so a lot of these Linux-based distros, and even 2, 3 phones, all running on my virtual box.
Maybe
And
because
32
you guys are
degrees and
using modern machines.
modern
Yes.
machines means my machine is an i3 5th gen Dell, so I can safely say it's comparatively older.
Hello,
So
sir.
yeah,
Hello. Hello, sir.
yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question, sir. Sir, regarding virtual machine, okay. Sir, I install Ubuntu in my virtual machine. So means I give the RAM so 4 GB. Okay. So my system consists of 8 GB RAM. Sir, hello. Sir, are you hearing?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Sir, then how many virtual machines I can install in that? I mean, if I use Ubuntu, then 4 GB will be fixed for the
4 GB.
Ubuntu. Yes, sir.
Ubuntu is just fine. I
Yeah,
run Parrot Security on 4 GB.
yeah. Actually,
Uh,
Devjit himself, Devjit sir himself runs about 5 to 6 virtual machines on his laptop with i3 5th gen and like 4 GB RAM. So you can understand.
I have I have run software on 256 MBs of RAM, 256, 512. You can even run Linux with this little capacity of RAM. So it's not an issue.
Same, sir.
The
Same
only
here.
reason the actual issue with Ubuntu is very heavy. Heavy in the sense it has a lot of GUI and stuff like that. So the problem becomes that whenever you have GUI, there has to be a lot of graphics, there has to be a lot of RAM and stuff like that. But if you use Arch Linux, like right now you see this is such a flashy terminal, right? Flashy terminal, cool wallpapers and stuff like that. Arch Linux gives you a black screen and a terminal. Now you can customize it. If you go to Reddit and r/Unix stuff, you will find brilliant customizations. Then again, it consumes memory and stuff. Arch Linux gives you a black screen, and I guess that's as fast as you can get. Recently, I had a trouble with my machine, and what happened that I was unable to take charge of this graphical interface. So I ran it from the console, and it was very fast. Like it was as fast. I felt I was working on a 16 GB machine. It was so fast and efficient. Scripts, scans, they were running in a jiffy. So, likewise, I said these are just relative terms. When you get into Linux, you'll understand. You, I showed you guys, right? Like the last time I customized, and I was, to be honest, pretty proud of my customization. You see, this looks brilliant. I This is there are a lot many colors, a lot of functionality in here, but it was very laggy. this on the other hand, what I'm using right now is also customizable. If I can make this, I can make this once again. But the only thing is, I guess quality is of more essence. Like I'd rather have a faster terminal than a very flashy terminal, right? Because when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about scans and stuff, time is of essence. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
You said console. What do you mean by like which console? Like,
Yeah, I
Sir,
didn't get
why?
your question. Yeah, what's your question? I didn't get it. Hello?
Sir, while dealing with the clear screen command, you said
you said
control is
console,
say
right?
but fast.
I I
Uh,
I am seriously unable to hear either of you guys.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, how one of them? One of them. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, you said console, right?
Yeah, like
Not exactly.
there are a lot
Like,
of things. Let's see. These are a bit technical terms. There's console, there are terminals, there are shells, there's the kernel. We'll come to it. Basically, if I define
okay, okay.
console, it's basically how do I say it? In a console, I'll put in a very layman's term. See, there's a hardware and there's software, right?
Yeah,
I'm typing ls if I'm writing something. There is some hardware at work, there's some software at work. So there must be a bridge somewhere between the hardware and the software.
yeah.
So that is what we call the kernel. Okay.
Okay.
So, guys, everybody listen to
Hello,
this with
sir.
utmost care. Yeah, I just request everybody to listen to this with as much care as you can because it's very important. There's hardware, there's software. The bridge between hardware and software is the kernel. And then there's the user and there is the shell. Sorry, my mistake. There's the user and there's the kernel. The user needs to interact with the kernel in some way. That's where the shell comes in. So kernel is the bridge between the hardware and the software. The shell is the bridge between the user and the kernel. Now, how does the user interact with the shell? That's through a terminal or a console. There's no hard and fast, differentiation between the two. A terminal is more GUI based, but whereas a console is like pre-boot stuff. You don't have GUI there. Got it? It's a bit difficult to grasp at this preliminary stage, but if you guys continue and study in this domain, you'll get you'll get better understanding of the stuff. Okay, so questions.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where all these commands are stored.
Which command?
All commands like exit, enroll, should, all these commands, where are this should, all are stored in the Linux.
You find it as simple as that. Which ls? It shows me where the ls command is located. If I type in which cat, it shows it shows me where the cat is located. It's usually in this user bin directory. A few days back, I did a horrible mistake. I removed my user bin directory to another location, and I couldn't access any of these commands. It was a nightmare for me.
And
So you guys
one more
understand?
question.
Yeah.
If I forgot one command, like if you said I want to copy a one file to another, and if I forgot what was the command, how would I find that this command is for me?
See, you have to remember the command name, right? If you remember the command name, you can use the man space command. Now, if you want to know that how can I do this, then you have to refer obviously to the internet and like question forums like Stack Exchange, ArchWiki, and places like that.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Any more questions?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Hello. So can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
perfectly.
Sir,
Yeah,
this is a
perfectly.
totally off. Sir, this is a totally off-topic question, sir. I just wanted to just curious about this, sir. Sir, I recently download lots of mega files from the Telegram channel. So I am newbie in this hacking or cyber security, right? Okay, sir. So, sir, is it safe to download or is it will it be problem later on that I download this much file, or will the file contain any malicious malwares or something like payloads
See,
or something like that?
there's always this probability that there is some malware. But you don't have a solution for it. Basically, people you trust and people you don't. Even in certain circumstances, people whom you trust, they might not be knowing that they are sending you a malware. So these are very, relative questions. Does any malware can get to your computer in a multitude of ways? Trust me.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, what does a BIOS do?
Hello.
Sir, what does
Hello.
BIOS do?
Uh, I can't get your question.
BIOS.
Basic input and output.
Wait,
What
wait.
does it do, sir?
Here, yeah, I'm not getting. Acha, are you asking what is BIOS? Hello?
Yes, sir. Like I asked about that. I heard that. BIOS.
Acha, basically BIOS is a software which initializes your hardware. It's like your mom waking up in the morning, like, hey, wake up, you have work to do. Or a knock on the door, hey, wake up, we have work. Every system for anything to run initial, first the hardware has to be initialized, right? You can't load up your screen without telling the motherboard to load it up, sorry, or the CPU to load it up, right? So BIOS does that for you.
Okay, fine.
It's the first
Sir,
it's the
while
first thing that runs. It's the first thing that runs
sir,
in you.
sir,
Yeah.
Sir, actually,
sir,
my
while
question is
explaining
off-topic
about
question.
I'm unable to hear any of you. So please, one person at a time.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Can I ask you like a question?
Yeah.
So my question is like very deep into like I ever like I every time thought like how would like Linux should be like made like for example if you have a command, right, like ls is a command, so like have you ever ventured into that deep that how would that command have been made, like
How
what
the
language and
commands
what.
into how the commands are made. Basically, a lot of commands are made using C and get it using shell codes and stuff like that. And if you have further questions about this, we'll have a session with somebody known as Spondan Ghosh, right? And he is basically the Linux god. I personally, if I ever have a question, he's the person I turn to. I'll try to arrange a meeting with him, and once we get that, he will be able to explain to you in depth how does POSIX and how does Linux commands work. For now, know that we have a C program, we have ELF binaries. You can even write your own shell codes to perform a program. Likewise, I said we made a custom command using the pre-made binaries and stuff like that, which gives you a reading about the COVID stats around the world on your terminal. So that's basically just how you make it.
Hello.
Yeah, more questions? Okay, guys,
sir,
we'll
is
be
there
taking
difference
just
between
two or four more questions. Just two more
hello?
questions. Yeah,
Sir,
go ahead.
sir, is there a difference between meta controls
Yeah,
about our system tech controls?
I didn't get you.
Sir, while explaining about clear screen, you said Control L is a command for clear screen shortcuts.
Yeah.
You referred meta controls of your system. You should know it, meta controls of your system. May I know about that? How to get
See,
meta control?
basically, these are these are shortcuts. I'll give you an example. Oh wait, this is not what I want. Okay. Sorry for that. So, uh, see, I want to dock my screen to the right, suppose, and I want to dock my screen to the left. It's just meta and the right left keys. You see, I want to switch between the screens. It's alt tab. So these are just petty shortcuts which you guys will come to know at a later stage.
How to come?
Hello,
How to
so
plug key?
Hello? Hello?
Sir,
hello.
actually, I have a question. Kali, all Linux is open source, so how it is secure?
Uh, See, not all, first of all, not all Linux systems is secure, and I explained to you guys, right, why it is secure, because when it is something is open source, you have thousands and millions of people scrutinizing a piece of software, and some of them will find the vulnerabilities. It will be reported and it will be fixed. Oh my god. Wait a minute.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. So let me complete with this one. The
Hello.
Linux kernel software. Hello. I'll
So can
get
you
back
hear
to your
me?
question. Yeah, but let me complete this answer first. So,
Yeah.
what's the main issue with this is, see, the Linux kernel and the Linux codes are open source, which means they have been reviewed and scrutinized by millions of Linux users around the globe. Whenever some fault is happening, there's a way to increase the code efficiency or stuff like that. It is reported by people. On the other hand, where Windows and stuff like that, you don't know the source code, right? So it's been reviewed by, let's say, 100,000 people, and I guess which Linux model provides a better scrutiny. Initially, when you release a kernel, there's a lot of vulnerabilities and some glitches, but they're reported and fixed very quickly. Whereas in the Windows, these are not discovered till a later stage of time. This is a very abstract concept known as security to obscurity. It's not something very technical, so you might even skip that part. Or if you want, you can just refer to some of I'm forgetting the name of this particular lecturer. If I remember him, I'll surely recommend his videos to you guys. But it's something very abstract, and there's no rule book for these sort of stuff.
Hello.
Sir,
Yeah,
I have a
Sir, I have a doubt.
question.
okay,
Hello.
wait.
Hello.
Just two more questions. Just two more questions, and these are the last questions, guys. Okay. Note down your
Yeah.
questions. Ask them at a later session. Okay.
Okay.
Go
Sir,
ahead.
actually, I want to know every year Linux makes a huge update like 2 GB and 3 GB.
No,
One version
no,
to another
no,
version.
no, 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 no. This is a very wrong thing. A Linux update which I faced was a last one was a kernel update. It was around 700 MB, but most Linux updates are funnily it's around in KBs, right? If you update on a regular basis, your updates rank in KBs. 70, 700 KB,
No
7000
sir, no sir, no sir.
KBs.
Actually, I want to tell that like 2019 version 1 or 2, there was a Linux file for 64 GB like 1.9 GB, and the latest one 2020.2 is like 2.9 GB. Like this huge
No,
update, 1 GB
that's
update.
no. That's if you're talking about the ISO files, you need to
Yes, yes,
understand
yes.
that it's not upgrading. It's coming with more software, more kernel specifications, and stuff like that. It's not
Okay, right.
it's not a,
Every year, like more specification is coming on Linux, and I think vulnerability will be increased when
yeah,
they
because
have
it's open
launched.
source.
Okay.
It's open
So
source. Like today I make something very great, and the people who are in charge of this Kali repo, they decide, "Ki, hey, this person made this very cool stuff. Let's incorporate it into our system." They will, and whenever they do so, a bit, even in KBs, the file of the size of the system will increase, right? So basically, it's just that.
Okay, okay.
So,
Thank you, sir.
what's the difference between a kernel, a console, a terminal, and a shell?
Console and a terminal and the shell. Okay, great. So first I'll touch upon, okay, console and terminal are quite alike. In fact, the differences are very hard to explain. The shell is basically the bridge between the user and the kernel, right? I don't think you guys will be able to understand this right now. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
If I do something known as PS, okay, it's a two terms. You can see something known as bash. Can you guys see this? This is a term
Yeah,
called
yeah.
bash. So bash is basically the shell I'm using. I can change it to anything. Like there are a couple of shells out there, fish, zash. So what is basically doing is it's the interface between me and the kernel. And how am I getting to do this? It's basically through the shell. Sorry, through the terminal or the console. Console is basically a pre-boot stuff where you don't have this GUI based things and stuff like that. It's basically a pre-boot system, and terminal is more like a, how do I put it? It's a, let's say it's a graphical version, right? A very I'll make this the last questions, guys. So, but I'll make sure this is I'll explain it. Suppose you want a new laptop, right? So you are the one endpoint of the chain, and another endpoint is the laptop, right? Yes or no? Just give me yes or no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But but you won't be buying it by yourself, and if you do, great. But I'll take a general assumption. You'll ask your dad, right? Dad, get me the laptop.
Yep.
Right.
So let's consider you the user, and the laptop as a software. So your dad will be the kernel because it's the primary interaction.
Yeah,
But you don't have the guts to talk to your dad because you scored horribly in your boards or something like that. Okay. What you do is you ask your mom. Mom, tell dad. Right? So your mom is the shell. Your mom is the shell. Now you tell your mom, you can tell your sister, you can tell your brother to tell dad. So those are the different kinds of shell. But the work is same. Communicate to dad, right? Okay. So now, how can you tell mom? You can tell to her in person, or you can text her over WhatsApp, right? Ultimately, she will receive the message. That's the end point. So how is a verbal communication different from WhatsApp communication? Like it's very hard to, it's so obvious but very hard to differentiate because you are the same person, your mom is the same person. Just the medium is different, right? If you tell her in person, it's more of a personal touch, but a WhatsApp message seems like you're a bit too formal, or otherwise you are screwed. Agreed? So this WhatsApp message or the one or the voice or the whatever you say, that's the shell or console. That's how the entire analogy of the thing is. Got it very clear? Any questions?
Yeah, got it. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So keep this in mind because many people still confuse this. What is a kernel? What is a shell? What is a terminal? What is a console? Yeah.
Hey bro,
One last question, guys, please. We have to wrap up right now. It's 8:30.
okay.
Yeah.
Bro,
One last question.
yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, means today
Go
while
ahead.
watching the videos which you had been sent, I got two doubts regarding what is netstat and netdiscover difference, bro.
What is netstat and what is netdiscover?
Difference between them
Let's
and explain
okay.
them.
Listen, if I start talking about netstat and netdiscover right now, it will drag on another 30 minutes. I think the better approach will be let us complete these basics first. Because to be honest, we didn't touch the basics at all.
Yeah.
we didn't touch the move commands, the copy commands, and other things. let's just get acquainted with these stuff, and then we'll come to this advanced topics. These are basically network commands. We'll come to these in the later session, but for the time now, let's wrap up till here. Okay, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Keep
okay,
your
bro.
doubts. Have any? Or don't use Linux as a main console right now for those who are new. Use it in a virtual box, preferably, because you guys made a lot of mistakes. Even I made a lot of mistakes. Uh, so another thing before we adjourn today's, guys, we would love some feedback. Not a long paragraph, nothing like. If you like today's session, thumbs up. If you didn't like today's session, a thumbs down with whatever suggestions you might be having. Okay, just a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a suggestion, whatever. And if this recording goes on successfully, let's see if we can arrange for it. Okay, guys. So good night and stay safe.
So when will be the next lecture?
Bro, means I have been done the screen recording. If you want, I will extract and share the group in Google Drive.
You have this recording?
Yeah, yeah, I have done the recording. If you want, I will share it. Means
Please. Okay. Please send it to me on the personal chat over Telegram.
okay.
Okay. So it will be great. I'm seeing if I'm trying to if I can get this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thanks, guys, and see you in the next lecture. Next lecture we have not yet planned, but hopefully this will be this.
Next week, right?
I will try. No, we will be trying to keep it on the weekends.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for today.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
For the today, sir.
And stay safe, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Bro, we'll be getting the more stuffs in Telegram.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Bye guys.
So where
Bye,
will
guys.
you thumbs up?
So where to give our suggestions?
It's in the Telegram channel only.
Yeah, zero
Okay.
dollars.
So can we suggest to try and keep the sessions on not on like weekdays, rather keep it on
Exactly.
work days,
Not on weekdays. Same.
No.
because so many people have other things to do, like we have other interests, and so like we are maybe working upon that on the weekends, so that like you may want to keep like them on Monday to Friday. It would be a better thing for all of us.
At that time, we have left on through our college. We have the better option, that is weekend.
I guess no one like.
I think better option. I think so. We should poll on this. We should tell the admin to take a poll on this.
And we should all take a stand and tell them that we are like not okay if you like please keep on work days, so that we all could be able to attend all the classes.
I think a poll will be better option. Then we'll have the then we'll see the results. Then we'll find better, right?
All will
Yeah, the
All
majority will be
Yeah,
weekdays.
poll will be better option.
Bro,
let's keep a poll on the ZDS channel, and then let's show them that majority of students like want their classes to be on non-work days, like on work days.
Is any admin out there?
No, like in this right now meeting, no, like admins are not there. All the thing, like all the officials went.
So let's
I
request
think
in
we
the
all should message in the Telegram group to the admin to ask to take the poll.
Okay,
Yes, poll is the correct one.
Let's put a poll on the ZDS like admin channel, and then let them decide. Then like majority of the people are good.